There's an early boss in Armored Core 6 who's called the Student Pilot, and I think that the fight with this student is a classic FromSoftware boss encounter, but not for the reason why you might think. I don't think that the fight with the Student Pilot is classic FromSoft because it's difficult. It isn't difficult at all, and actually it's really a weirdly easy fight. The reason why I want to talk about it is because it illustrates why the devs at FromSoftware are some of the best storytellers in the video game industry. So let me break down how this encounter with the Student Pilot works, because I promise you by the end of my story, it's going to reveal the brilliance of FromSoftware at work. So as I said earlier, the Student Pilot is kind of a pushover, really easy, but that actually plays into the storytelling context of the fight and helps it to become something that's either darkly funny or tragic, depending on the mood that you're in when you approach the game. During the fight, you hear the Student Pilot speak over the radio in a really boyish, innocent, pathetic sounding voiceover where he'll say things like, "I've been training my whole life for this moment," and "I can't fail," and "Damn it, I just can't die like this." Like the way his voice sounds and with the determination that he expresses and his kind of boyish charm, he sounds like he could be the protagonist of like a Gundam anime or something like that. But of course that's not what he is at all. He's not the protagonist, you are. And while you're listening to him say these things with his pathetic, try-hard, boyish voice, you're just totally, utterly manhandling him and taking him straight back to Hades whence he came. And this fight is like a whole mission unto itself. There's nothing else to do in this mission other than destroy this child. And I think that this encounter with the Student Pilot just beautifully illustrates classic FromSoftware storytelling principles. You know, to begin with, if this was any other major AAA developer, they would have tried to enhance the drama of the storytelling of this fight, at least with a cutscene. But FromSoftware characteristically opts for the much cheaper approach of skipping cutscenes and just giving you a few lines of voiceover from the Student Pilot to play during the battle. But this approach doesn't actually feel cheap in practice. It doesn't feel like FromSoftware is cutting any corners. And that's because it dramatically changes the way that the gameplay feels and the very nature of the boss encounter. The Student Pilot would actually have just been a boring boss by normal boss standards, especially FromSoft standards, because he is so easy to beat. But his pathetic, naive voiceover tells us that we're actually fighting like a brash upstart who can't be more than 18 or 20 years old and just wants to make a name for himself. And that has the effect of turning an objectively boring boss fight into a really cool storytelling moment. Because suddenly you are becoming conscious of what a stone-cold mercenary you are. FromSoftware uses an easy boss encounter to tell a story about how cheap life is on the planet Rubicon, and you learn very vividly just how far you're willing to go in that mech suit to earn a few bucks. And for many players of Armored Core 6, this fight with the Student Pilot will probably just be a fun and laid-back mission that they might forget about pretty quickly. But to me, it captures a central reason why FromSoftware is such a next-level video game developer. They build storytelling into their gameplay with an unrivaled kind of efficiency, so that a tiny little detail like a few lines of voiceover transforms a subpar combat encounter into a beautiful piece of storytelling whose poignance is derived from the very fact that the combat encounter is so trivially easy and even like objectively boring from a pure gameplay perspective.